Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. As you can probably guess, it's Wednesday evening and we are live with the Shower Door Professionals here on Facebook and Zoom, soon to be on YouTube, Spotify, you name it, man. We're everywhere, man. We get around. Hey, thanks for being a part of this awesome group. Man, it's just like time flies, and before you know it, here you are, another day older, deeper in debt. Yeah, we've got, just, about 9 or 10 people on the call right now. Maybe a couple of people will join us as we go, but just wanted to have a call and just talk a little bit about, just where we're at, where we've been, where we started, where we're at now, and what you think about where we should be going next. I was just looking at the About page, on the Shower Door Professionals Facebook group, and it says that the group was created on March 5th, 2009. So man, we've had a pretty good run. We changed the name. I'm not sure what it was originally, but changed the name to Shower Door Manufacturing and Installation Professionals in October of 2017. And then we started having these calls. I don't know, it's probably been at least 6, 7 years since we started meeting and started really kind of forming a more cohesive, more formal group. And as that started to happen, I wanted to kind of include the membership in some of the decisions, right? Because really it's like I'm just one member of this vast group that's like almost 5,000 strong now. And I just, when I'm making changes to the group, whatever, even if it's just something as small as the name of the group, want to get some feedback from members, and just kind of see what they think. And I really have made decisions, based on feedback that I've gotten. And so back when we made that last change, changed the name to Shower Door Professionals, kind of shorten the name. At that same time, we decided to make the group private because up until that point, it was a public group. So the group is private but visible. That means anybody can see the group, that it exists, but only the members of the group can see what's being posted and can participate in that. Um, and I think that's been almost 10 years ago now. Well, no, so it looks like it was 2019 when we changed or let me see. Yeah, the last name change was in 2019. So anyway, this is what I'm thinking about today. Today I'm thinking about um, where we're at now and where do we want to go next. Um, we've been the shower door professionals for, about 7 years now. And you know as well as I do that like the vast majority of the members of this group do more than just shower doors. Um, so all of us do some shower doors. A lot of us do mostly shower doors. But almost all of us do other stuff, like Tim here, man. I mean, I think Tim still does pretty much everything, you know. I think about the Landas. They are a full service glass shop doing shower doors and, everything else. So anyway, I just want to have a conversation. I know some people are thinking, wow, is Chris like about to like fold this thing up and quit or something? I'm like, not quite yet. I mean, the thought has crossed my mind, but no, I'm not ready to do that yet. I think we've got a lot of good years left in us, but I do want to open the conversation to this idea of like, is it time for a change? Is it time for us to kind of expand? Or do we want to contract? Do we want to change it to like frameless shower door professionals and just, kick out all the like people doing frame doors? Or do we want to expand a little bit to just maybe frameless glass professionals? I mean, if we were, and this is just kind of a suggestion, just kind of throwing it out there, if we were like frameless glass professionals, man, that would open it up to a lot more stuff. We'd be talking about like handrails, we'd be talking about partitions, we'd be talking about any kind of like heavy glass work. And would be able to open up membership um, to maybe more people or draw more interest from more people in the industry, or maybe better represent the work that we actually do. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. So anyway, what do you guys think? Am I on the right track? Am I just, does it sound like I've been smoking crack? Or you know,
You're eating those mushrooms.
eating those mushrooms, too many of those mushrooms, man. Tripping. Chris is tripping. Who wants to go first? I suppose I went first. Who wants to go second?
Is this what you're thinking for like the co-op, or is this what you're thinking for this just these Wednesday night calls?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. I really didn't even think of that. So the co-op actually is I'm not involved in the co-op anymore.
Oh, okay,
And
okay,
just to give you a quick like insight into what's happening there is like basically what happened is like I got, some members of the group wanted to start a co-op. And I was like, that's awesome. Just totally should do that. If I can help, let me know. So I actually was involved in helping getting it kind of spun up a little bit. And as it was forming and it was being figured out how it was going to work and what the rules were going to be basically to be a member, part of that was like owning a glass shop was part of the deal. And so it's funny because at the same time that the co-op was forming, I was actually getting out of being an owner of a glass
hmm
shop. So now I no longer qualify to be a member of the co-op. So I'm like, I like worked myself out of a job, like literally, right? So, but at the same time, I mean, it was like we were kind of merging everything together because my vision was originally when we started this, just like, yeah, let's merge this whole thing, the shower door professionals group, the Facebook group, the call, co-op, make it all just one thing. And in fact, the co-op went ahead and got the domain shower door professionals.
okay,
And they formed a, I don't know, an LLC or a corporation or something that's called that, that's named that. So now really, I mean, it makes sense if we're not really the same entity to think about the idea of maybe changing our identity, um, to be more accurate for who we are and to reflect where we're going, because I'm that guy, right? I'm thinking about where can we go from here? What's next? What's next on the horizon? I get bored if I don't do that. So that's
okay.
not too long of an answer, I hope, to your question, but I'm sure this is something everybody is wondering about. We just haven't talked about it um, so far, and don't want people to get the wrong idea or whatever. But it just we grew apart.
Yeah, the co-op itself will have its own entities, its own like Facebook group, its own LinkedIn profiles, its separate marketing and structure, and like the goals of what the co-op, Shower Door Professionals Co-op is as a whole. And then on the side, renaming the Facebook group here or just deciding what other guests do we have on. If we aren't necessarily tied to shower door specifics, so many companies here would like to speak to vendors that might not be specific to FHC hardware, like previous guests that
Yep.
are some shower door pros want to watch how a shower design software is running. But what does what guy doing majority of Windows want to see? Or guys that might be thinking of expanding opposite into commercial, like Steve Nunn right here talking about it, like who can come on to help him with some topics that are experienced in that realm. And that's where like tonight everyone's insight on what they want to see, who they want to see speak, what topics we want to cover, or what resources that we want to start getting. You know, right now we see a how do I install this shower post, and that's great. Or does someone have this kind of shower post? But do we want to see other kind of products mentioned too, and have the resources contributed from everyone to provide that? That's kind of a good platform to see where the actual members of the group that are active want to go.
Yeah.
Because we'll build it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Hey guys, if I can touch in, can you hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead, Steve.
Okay. Yeah, so what Rob was saying, I was talking kind of earlier, just before the call, is me and a buddy that does window work. He's a fireman, in a suburb out of San Antonio, and he does windows. I've always done shower doors. My father-in-law does commercial, and uh, we kind of all. I mainly do shower doors, and that's probably what I'll always usually specialize in.
Mhm.
But but we've been talking, we've been throwing this thing around about starting a commercial because there's so much commercial work in San Antonio, and I get so many requests to bid commercial work. And my father-in-law is he used to be really heavy into that, so he kind of knows what he's doing. And so we're like, man, we should just start some commercial stuff. And besides like Glazer Nation and stuff like that, there's really nowhere that has like I really don't know what I'm doing with that kind of stuff. But we're gonna start another business doing commercial work, and I probably won't be too involved. Hopefully not. I'm still gonna do the shower doors as like a main specialty,
Mhm.
but just kind of getting down the starting that path of starting another genre of glass work. I think it'd be cool just to have some variation, I guess, maybe because there's only so many people and so many things you can do for frameless showers before it is just that rabbit wheel of okay, now what are we going to do? What are we going to talk about? Because we've talked about everything 15 times. So I get where this is going, and it kind of hit me at the same time because we just kind of branched off on this idea of doing some commercial stuff too, So I just wanted to throw my little plug in there on that one.
Yeah. Appreciate that. Yeah, thanks for your feedback, man. Because, like, really, and kind of bouncing off that, the co-op thing, it's like really the co-op went in a direction that was like even more concentrated on shower doors. Like, to be a member of that, you have to do more than half of your business in shower doors. And you have to be like a shower door forward company. You can do other stuff, of course, but you have to be mainly a shower door installation company in order to participate in that. So this group has always been inclusive of like pretty, everybody in the industry. And people post stuff of other stuff. They post pictures of mirrors. They post pictures of storefronts or wine closets, stuff like that. And that's all cool. I mean, that's never bothered me or anything, because it's always been people who are in the shower door business and doing other stuff. So whereas this other organization is really focusing in on just shower doors, that may be a good reason, for us to think about, well, okay, now we've got someone who's really covering that. Maybe we should think about kind of changing our focus to be even more inclusive than we have been in the past. I guess just really more in terms of our identity or our name or our policies or whatever. I mean, because we already are pretty inclusive.
Yeah, hey Chris, one more thing real quick.
Yeah.
is and that's the point I wanted to mention a while ago is I do a lot. I do a lot of frameless shower doors, but I also do a lot more because I do a lot of new builds. So those houses usually include, they use like 4 or 5 frameless shower doors, but then there's like a wine room, then there's some mirrors or gym mirrors or
Yeah.
whatever you see in these houses.
Yeah.
And so
Glass
I've
rails,
always
you
I've
know.
always been kind of weird when I post things to the shower door group because I'm like, hey, I know it's not shower doors, but hey, what do y'all use for this on the wine room? And just I want to put
Yeah.
that little disclaimer out
That's
there,
probably the
right?
most common phrase you'll ever
You
see in
know,
shower door professionals. It's not a shower door, but
Yeah.
right? But it's damn close, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's in the ballpark, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
Yeah.
never been like a shower door snob or anything like that. I mean, I've always done shower doors and some other stuff, myself. But just for the sake of membership, you want to, you do have to like direct things or else just, how things go, they'll go everywhere. Um, yeah,
You just got to come up with a good
And I
name.
think also,
yeah,
yeah, and like how the shower door co-op thing is gonna maybe start their, kind of start a little bit of separate thing going on. I think it's good because that area may be able to focus more on the frameless shower door stuff, and
mhm,
then and then we can have somewhere else that the majority we do is still frameless shower doors, but we do these things that we may put some railings up and may put some wine rooms up and mirrors and just get a little question. You kind of feel a little awkward doing that in the shower door professional group.
right, right. Right, and like yeah, like Tim just said, all we really have to do is come up with a name, and I'm thinking about something along the lines of frameless glass specialists, frameless glass professionals, or something like that. To where it's like still or heavy glass, maybe even, something that distinguishes it from, we're not talking about windows. We're not talking about storefronts. We're not talking about, I mean, but frameless could be like mirrors, could be handrail, could be wine rooms, could be, partitions, like a lot of, there's a lot of like high end artsy kind of glass would really fit. And then still you're going to have some things that are just on the fringes or just outside of that. And it's always been our tradition to be inclusive, like, well, some of you guys ride people pretty hard, but as long as you don't get too out of hand, I'll let you do it. But yeah, I think we've got like this fellowship, and camaraderie in the group that's pretty awesome and is really the reason for the growth of the group and the success of the group so far. So, I'm not, of course, I'm
Hey,
not talking about like next week, you'll come back and it'll be a different name and a different logo or something like. But like, let's start this conversation and probably have it over, the next, you know, several weeks or unless we settle on something really quick. But
yep. Hey, Chris, I agree totally because I mean this group is the reason I changed my name from Steve's Glass Company to 87 Shower Door because I really wanted to focus on that shower door side, which I'm glad I did because I don't want to get the calls for the broken windows and the all the stuff you get calls for, right? When your name's just blanket glass company. Um, but I have, which this group has been great, and I applaud you for that because I've been able to connect to people that do stuff. They do shower doors as well. Just I mean, it's like the Dotmans and talking to all these people about different things. But I've always done it thankfully to this group on a personal level. Just like now I got the number and I can just text them, hey man, like what would you use for this channel on a wine room, blah blah blah. Talking to Keith or anyone else and Brandon, and that's been great. But I've tried to narrow down a lot of the questions I really had. I've tried to really just not do them on the shower door group because I know that people want to jump on that to look at shower doors.
Right.
You know,
I get it.
I get it. So I think it's a good idea because, like you said, most of us still do a lot of things. I mean, I'd probably say 90% or more do things more than just a shower door. Maybe they're like me. My I guess my percentage is still mostly like majority shower doors, but I still have the wine room in the house, and I still have the mirror wall or the railing that I haven't done before. And so it's like, man, should I post it on the group or should I just text Keith or Bill or Brandon like directly or the people that that have been on this call and for the years and have put their knowledge out there. So
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea. I mean,
Thanks, Steve. Yeah. It's a thought, it's a thought. So if you're just joining us, we're talking about the possibility of just kind of changing the focus of the shower door professionals group, and is it do we want to just continue to be shower door professionals, or do we want to be something a little broader than that to include more of the glass industry, the kind of the neighboring segments of the glass industry, which I see as basically like glass railings, wine rooms, mirrors, of course, you know,
I think you guys were talking about heavy glass. I mean, that all that kind of falls into that category.
yeah,
Heavy, like heavy frameless glass or heavy glass professionals, and that kind of gets you with all your basics, and it's a little bit more inclusive and it's not completely exclusive.
yeah. Heavy glass. I mean, I kind of like the sound of that heavy glass. That's got
It's
a cool ring to it, actually.
what is the definition of heavy glass? It's like anything over 5/16 or 3/8 or something like that.
Yeah, I
Like what?
think
I
so.
can't
I think
remember.
so. 3/8 and up.
I can't remember what the definition of heavy glass is, but yeah, it's something like that.
Well, if we become the heavy glass pros, we'll decide what the definition is.
hmm I think there's actually an industry standard somewhere in a book. I read it. I was on one of the FHC little seminar things where they were teaching
Okay.
us about glass handrails. They gave you the definition of what heavy glass is based off of the NGA standards.
Yeah, I think you're
Yeah,
right. I think you're right.
yeah,
Like over 5/16. I think.
something like that. Yeah. But we could change that. Words are just whatever we make them.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, exactly. We can decide. Who else? Anybody else want to weigh in on this?
No, I just think it's a good idea,
Awesome.
to include everything, but now I have to go to dinner, so we'll see you next Wednesday.
Well, thanks for weighing in before you left, man.
So,
Tim, your opinion is valuable here, man. I
Yeah.
know you know that.
All right.
Well, have a nice dinner. Awesome.
so
And at the same time, too, it's like if you're watching this, you didn't get to be on the call, you didn't get to watch live, but you're watching later, and you've got a strong opinion, feel free to reach out. You can, IM me on Facebook or whatever, or send me a message, send me pretty easy to get in touch with. I'm on like most of the platforms and stuff. Tell me how you feel about it. If I get like an overwhelming response of like, no, you can't do it, dude. You can't change the name, man. It's shower door professionals, man. I'll be super upset if you do it. I mean, it's like I can totally live with it. It's not a big deal, I mean, if that's kind of really the direction that most of the group wants to go, or I don't know, I definitely would take that into consideration, because it doesn't, it's just semantics, right? The name of it, I mean, we decide, who we're going to include and who we're going to, support and promote and all that. But I have a feeling that like it is going to trend this way towards something new because that we're kind of like that. We like, we like to keep moving and do new things and change.
I like it. We're actually been in talks, me and my dad, about kind of doing something a little similar, like with the Dobbins, and even Brandon does too. I mean, Dobbins, they've actually, because I know Keith's got his my architectural glass, and then Bill's thing is like the my shower door thing. Because with us, I mean, our company is Precision Shower Door, but we also do some wine room stuff. We do a lot of glass and or the mirror walls, like for gyms and
Mhm.
stuff like that. But we've been talking about branching out, just either doing a separate name or even changing our name to kind of fully encompass more of like even architecture glass, because I would like to get more into like the glass railings and
Mhm.
wine rooms and stuff like that, just because we're starting to see a lot more of it in our area. We're in the Central Valley, and we're seeing more people move from like the Bay Area and LA who's got the money to kind of splurge on stuff like that. And so just to, I mean, getting more exposure. And I think I don't want to, at least for our business, limit ourselves, by just the name of, obviously we always specialize in shower doors, but like to kind of branch out more a little bit too. So definitely would like to see the group evolve. So that'd be cool. Because I dig seeing all the stuff that Keith and Brandon post, and even some of the other guys posting some of these wine rooms and stuff. It's really cool to see all the different designs and everything. So
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like I say, even though it's been called, shower door professionals, there's a lot of like awesome glass work in there, and it's never bothered me to see stuff other than shower doors in there because, it's what we do. So yeah, that's cool. I like that.
We we use the term for our name is Noble Custom Glass. So I mean, we're kind of all encompassing when we honestly we don't target production stuff. So we're not looking for things that are not custom. So we're custom glass and mirrors, That's our what we want to target. Everything else that comes with it is what it is. But our target is custom glass, which encompasses shower doors, handrails, and any custom glass work. Like it can be whatever. Um, and in the mirrors. But there's obviously other things that we do too. So, but
Yeah, well,
our target is that.
mirrors are almost always custom. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
very
Well, I
rarely do you
mean,
have like just a stock mirror.
we
So
Yeah, we don't target production work, but we have some production stuff. Local production builders that are 25 to 50 homes a year doing stock stuff. They're still custom shower doors, but they're stock mirrors and stuff like that. So, but
Hey Daniel, when I changed our name to 87 Shower Door, I changed the name to 87 Shower Door, but the logo is still 87 Shower Door, and then underneath it, which it's not on a lot of the logos you see, if you look it up, but it's custom glass and mirror. That way, I really like when I'm
yeah.
driving the road. I don't want people to call me for a broken window and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
I also want that custom glass and mirror image to be like, okay, I don't want to call you dude because it's custom glass. It kind of weeds
Yeah.
out a little bit of that.
right. The cheap
You know
Mm-hmm.
thing.
what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna pay a
yeah, no,
custom
same here.
price.
I definitely I like that Daniel, how you mentioned like the custom glass part, because that's kind of
Cool.
encompasses a little bit everything, and definitely kind of wean out, because we don't I do a little bit of windows. It's more, if I'm already there doing the shower glass and they have like a broken window in the shower area, or just they want to change it out to like something obscure or whatever, yeah, I'll do that if it's like just a quick swap. But I'm not doing, retrofit windows or anything like that. I mean, we do a little bit of commercial stuff, just real small projects, but
Yeah.
nothing crazy.
Yeah. I actually have it's hilarious the perspective on this. We are doing an arched double doors with two side light little panels on knee walls, an arched shower door opening, steam shower. And then now he wants me to do a little putty reglaze on a window that they broke. So yes, it's like I'm like I got to figure out how much I want to charge you for this little putty reglaze. I said nobody wants to do it. Yes, we can do it, but I mean it'll take us as long to do this little putty reglaze as it will this shower door, and I'm making insanely like it's night and day the difference. So I'm like, I just got to figure out
Exactly.
how much I reasonably want to charge you without you getting pissed off at me.
This episode of the podcast is brought to you by glassgadget.com. Showcase Innovations creates tools that help shower door installers be more efficient and save time. Check out glassgadget.com for more information.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like sometimes we, end up chasing our tail. What's bit me one time is, they were all gung ho about, doing the shower. And then we went in there and then they mentioned, oh yeah, I've got this other, these two windows that, one it's got, it's cracked and the other one, the seal's broken. Can you do that? And then it's like we ended up doing those first. And then it took like months and I didn't even know if we were going to do the shower or not. And then I'm chasing my tail trying to just get this first little part done. And I mean, luckily it ended up we did the shower like, I think it was like 2 or 3 months later, but you get those ones where it's like you're wasting more time just fiddling with these little minuscule jobs that you don't really want to do. And it's like to your point, you didn't really want to do it, nobody else is going to do it, but you can, and it's just whatever. But yeah, same thing.
Yeah, and you'll do things for an existing customer, that you wouldn't do for someone else. You know what I mean? Especially if you're doing work for contractors. That's how you get stuck doing commercial work, is it's like you're doing work for contractors, like, oh, I've got this little commercial job over here. I want one, why don't you give me a price on it? So that's how you get dragged into these other areas, that you really don't want to go into. But it's like it's
Exactly.
hard to say no to a customer, to especially like a regular customer, because if you're in the shower door business, there's not that many regular customers, right? So, but I also like, that idea of like that word custom also has really a nice ring to it, because that does kind of, yeah, we might want to consider that in the name of the group.
Just
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
simple custom glass professionals.
Maybe something like that, I mean, just, yeah, nothing too long
'Cause
or elaborate, but something that really does kind of define.
if you do custom glass professionals, I mean, it doesn't negate the mirror side of it because that's still glass. It doesn't exclude anything below heavy glass levels, and it's windows are not typically custom, more or less, So your mind doesn't go to windows and it doesn't go to those things. It goes to custom glass applications, which is everything we talk about,
Yeah,
you
I like
know.
that might be the way to go.
Um, and to your point about them contractors, man, yeah, I shared a little picture with you guys in the chat of this horse arena we're doing right now. And it was just, went from residential work to small commercial stuff. And then now this guy's having us do a freaking horse arena on his property, our contractor's doing. So it's turned into a big commercial thing.
Mhm.
So, but it's because this contractor has residential side and a commercial side, and they slowly start bringing us on to do these other applications. No, once they find out we can do it. So, but it's
Yeah.
the same margins for us. So whatever.
If you can charge enough to do it,
Usually we
let's
can't
do it.
charge that kind of price for commercial stuff. It's usually smaller margins, but if they're willing to let us do the work for that margin, whatever.
Exactly. Exactly. You're singing my tune. Right on. I
What's
like
our target person? Who are we looking for?
right.
Like, are we looking for Sean's? Are we looking for Dodman's? Like shower doors only? Like, what is our target person?
Right. As far as a group member,
Yeah, if you could pick
people who
somebody, who
do,
are you
I mean,
picking?
yeah, I mean, like people who do, top-notch, high-end work, you know, like the people you just mentioned, are perfect examples of, people that we want in the group, and
High
yeah,
high standards, high quality.
yeah, Yep,
setting bars.
absolutely. Yeah. Good, good customer service, good reputation. Yeah, kind of more of the same. I mean, I don't know if there's going to be that much of a difference as far as like the day-to-day operation, but just changing the identity of the group will make probably a big part of the industry that haven't joined because they're like, yeah, I'm not a shower door guy. But maybe they're a railing guy. I mean, maybe they're like the bomb, railing people, man. I was like, well, those guys, that's perfect. They fit right in here. They are doing like super, I mean, that's super intricate, custom, heavy glass work, like all kinds of like math that I don't know how to do and stuff like that, man. I mean, that's a great example of it. And then, there's maybe, like, I don't know, art glass. What about art glass? I mean, that would be like fit in the custom genre
Mhm.
for sure, man. And like, sandblasters or like even like leaded glass or whatever. I mean, there are a lot of people who are not in our group who probably would fit right in with the rest of us because they do the kind of custom work and their artistry and um the quality and the sense of humor, whatever, would just fit right in. But just like, see, shower doors, yeah, that's just not me. I don't fit in that at all. And maybe that would, I don't know, double the size of the group like overnight. I mean, not that that's important, I mean, I think, the group's big enough and everything, but I hate the idea of like somebody whose work I would really admire and would be blown away by, like passing by the group because, yeah, they don't do shower doors, right?
Yeah, I say the ideal avatar is the ideal customer, the ideal person that should join the group is like ethical, an expert, doesn't, I don't care how long they've been in the business. If they're joining the bit, like Connor Sell is a great example of a new person who's entered the industry, but he's trying to come with the highest degree of ethics and professionalism he knows from his past experience and just saying shower doors is where I've been called to go versus these 20, 30-year guys that we know that have done it the wrong way. Like, we don't care to have them in the group, no matter how long they've been around. The 30-year guys that have done it the right way, like Bill Dahlman, that has built sub companies and been able to have to expand the name and brand without even having to refocus where did the core company goes. Like, that kind of advice and experience is useful for so many other people too. Like, the qualities we would need is just experts that want to kill it in this game are looking to, we don't matter if they're like certain people that are coming in, Joshua Rosenfield, great people that are taking over good quality companies that want to scale, but they aren't glass guys and they aren't looking to leave a name or a legacy kind of thing. These people that are buying companies to kind of flip, there's other people coming in like that. I don't mind where they align in those, as long as their ethics are right, their professionalism is right. They're trying to raise the standards of where the industry is. They aren't the chuck in the trucks trying to underbid everyone else and trying to do things shoddy ways and that make people question why they should hire people in our field and pay the rate they do because of the bad taste that they have in their mouth from the last people who did a horrendous job and weren't around to come back and fix it because they were just the fly by night. So I'd say no matter how long they've been around or what they bring to the table, attitude, helping each other out, community, looking to make an impact. Like, those are good qualities of a lot of people we could bring into the, like you said, handrail specialist maybe. Who knows? That just saw shower door professionals and was like, ah, man, I'd like to join it, but not for me. And they don't know. Like, we'd love to talk to them. Check out the stuff we've done. Like, yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity out there for people. We can remarket it in any way that's experts
Yeah.
related.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right, man. And I mean, for us to grow to the size that we have on just being a shower door group, I mean, it's pretty incredible. I mean, it's a pretty small niche, within the glass industry. I mean, I'm not that small, but one of the smaller, segments, I'd say, of the glass industry. Yeah, it's who knows? And I love what you're saying about that. Yeah, like that people who have the ethics, people who have, the care and the quality, and want to elevate the industry. Um, I don't know, it's like I'm the type of person who, like, when I come into a group, and it doesn't matter if it's like a church or if it's a networking group or if it's like a service organization, anything that I join, when I come in, I think, what can I do? Can I do anything to contribute to this? Can I do anything to make this thing better? I mean, I know a lot of people look at, like, well, what can I, what's in this for me? What can I get out of it? How is this going to serve me? And it's just like, I just don't look at the world that way. I look at it like, hey, is there some place where I can fit in? Well, am I going to be valuable here? Maybe it's just my, insecurities, of like, oh man, of wanting to be, valuable in a group. Those are the kind of people like we want in our group. And I think we have like a ton of those kinds of people. I mean, I think there are a lot of members who really benefit very little from being a part of the group, but do more to contribute and mentor other people. And I've heard about people getting together and mentoring other members like that. I didn't even know that that was happening because they just quietly, on the sly, without a bunch of fanfare, without a bunch of attention or drawing a bunch of attention to themselves, just like help other people. It's like, that's awesome, man. I love that. You know, uh, I think there's a ton of people like that out there who would like to join our group, if they had the opportunity.
Yeah. You can also toss around the Custom Glass Leaders of America.
South America, yeah. Custom, that's another thing, like that word custom. It's like it's not going to draw like that, like Chuck in the truck sort of a thing, right? I mean,
Mhm.
it's going to draw the people who really, do the exceptional work. I like that. That's a good word, really, to include in the name of a group, I think.
I
I would
agree
have
because that's kind of why I threw that under 87 shower door as custom glass and mirror because there's a lot of glass companies in San Antonio that do a lot of production shower enclosures and stuff like that. And I just I've talked to these guys, I've talked to these owners, and they make nothing on these things.
Mhm.
It's quantity. It's quantity. It's all it is. Quantity versus quality.
Mhm.
And I had a buddy that he did the concrete work for a big builder, Dior Horton, and he's like, man, let me get you in, blah blah, and I found out they made like the glass company that was doing that one subdivision made like $50 profit on a house that was two showers and like six mirrors. And I'm like, no, sir. No,
it's
no way. No way. So
it's insane.
$50.
and
That's if the
$50,
guys
man.
don't break everything.
Exactly. And,
Hmm.
and they're gonna break everything, they're gonna break it. So I was like, I don't want to be a part of that. I want to be the low quantity, high vol or what's the
Yeah.
what's the word I'm
You,
looking for here? High margin, low volume type of
Yeah,
work.
yeah, yeah. That's and now that I'm thinking about it, all this like because we're essentially a specialty trade company, but without we don't all the other specialty trade companies around us, none of them have any sort of hardly glass in their name or anything like that. It's just a generic name. I don't want to throw the names out there, but it's the ones that I'm thinking of are it's like something specialty company, something out this. None of them refer to any glass specifics on their names that are actually doing the production stuff. So just generic names that people have come up with, not having anything to do with glass and mirror or
Exactly.
custom anything, you know? So and that's one thing that we separate ourselves with is like, we don't target that either. You know, we target the custom glass. We'll accept some production stuff that's like semi-production. I mean, it's a $500,000 to $800,000 production home, but that ain't that's a fucking expensive production home. You know, that's, I
Yeah.
mean, that's whatever, you know. Um, but you know, yeah, it's more specific when we do that, you know, and we weed out the production builders. And like Steve, to your point, I entertained one production builder, Fisher Homes, before, and like just because we offered the brand of shelving that they were required to use, they entertained us, and my dad let me entertain talking to them. And when we sat down at the table, their asking installation price and for shelving and stuff like that was less than our cost. I laughed and I said, this ain't never going to work. I said, I don't know how you do it, but I think it's best if we just both walk away, you know, and we didn't waste each other's time a minute later, you know?
Yep,
So
for sure.
but yeah, the specialty companies, they don't really target custom glass and stuff like that. And they don't have it in their names, I don't think. None of them around here do.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, because you got Brad, the shower door professionals, and you got like Eccles. I'm trying to get Eccles Glass and Mirror, that's around the corner from us. I'm trying to get him involved with the group a little bit. They're a tempering facility and manufacturing facility, but they also install. They've been doing it for a long time, and you know, so I'm trying to get him on here. But they're a glass and mirror company, you know, and that's what they target, you know. So it's yeah,
Yeah.
custom glass.
Yeah. I like it. It's got a nice ring to it.
Yep, I know. I mean, I said this earlier in the call, but when I changed my name to Shower Door, that was for a reason to get out of the people calling for broken car windows and broken IGs and stuff like that. But my target customer has always been the custom builders, and you know they know that I do shower doors, but they also know I do everything else. So it's kind of once I put the custom glass and mirror, it doesn't make them think like, hey, you changed your name to just 87 shower door. Are you only doing that now? I'm like, well, no, but I mean, you know what I do. And the
Right.
people that I want to know what I do, they know what I do, kind of thing, right?
Right.
Yeah,
And all the rest can just stay away.
absolutely.
Remember, there are no prospects, just suspects.
Yep.
Yeah, when one of my main competitors in Santa Cruz was a company called the Skylight Place. So they've been in town for like a long, long time. Now they do like mostly, I think they do mostly replacement windows, right? So it's like their name is the Skylight Place because at one time I guess they decided they were going to specialize in skylights. Must have been what was booming, probably 30 years ago or whatever, when they started up. But they do, frameless shower doors. They do, everything, window replacements. I think they do some skylights now and then, you know. But it's an interesting thing. When I started my company, it was called Santa Cruz Showcase. I actually I was specialized in retail displays. So that was what was my plan to do. So I went from doing just like showcases to everything now, like commercial work, you name it. Window replacements, I was doing that for a while, which is actually, there's pretty good money in that if you don't have to compete with a bunch of guys working out of their Datsun or whatever. But it's funny because so I went from there and then I expanded to do everything, and then I re-specialized in shower doors, changed the name of my company to include shower doors in the name. So it's kind of this ebb and flow of like, it's almost like breathing, your lungs expand, they contract, they expand, they contract, and there, there's just a time to like take on more, and then there's a time to like specialize down. It has to do with, it might have to do with the industry, it might have to do with the economy, it might be whatever, might have to do with like your wife, what she wants you to do or whatever, but from time to time, it's just time for a change and maybe focus more on one thing. What was brilliant for me when I did that with shower doors, it made a huge difference in my business. I started getting tons of work. It was like the more I said no to things, the busier I got. It was just the weirdest thing. And like business is like that. You guys know you're in business. It's like it's so counterintuitive. Sometimes you do the opposite of what everybody thinks you should do, and it's like you get more business that way. I used to find that I'd have someone that I was selling to, and they would kind of start to pull back, and then rather than pursue them, I would pull back too. So they'd be like, yeah, I don't know, I might, want to get another, and I'd be like, oh, well, actually, that's good because like I'm really busy and I was just kind of doing this as because I thought you needed it. But yeah, and then they'd be, well, whoa, wait a minute, As soon as you start kind of pulling the carrot back away, man, and they're lunging for it, So it's this dance, it's this give and take thing, and I don't know.
You see
I'm
that?
just sensing that right now we're in kind of one of those places.
Yeah, you see that in pricing sometimes too. At least I have, where it's like you get those clients or those customers that, oh, well, we really want to use you. Can you come down to this price? Drop it like $300 or whatever. And it's like, no, that's kind of where I'm at. Then within, an hour or so, okay, well, yeah, that's fine. Let's go ahead and move forward.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
okay, you know,
Or or even like when they say that, be like, oh, I'm glad you brought that up because I noticed that I made a mistake on my estimate. I forgot to add this thing in, and
right?
really it's going to be $300 more. And oh, well, wait a minute, wait a minute. If you'll do it for the price you originally said, or whatever, man, it's funny. It's a dance. It really is, and it's like you need to learn once you learn how to, read people and just kind of sense that, not be too hungry, not to be too anxious, it becomes a lot easier to close those deals. But yeah, I think we've had a good talk here. Glad I brought it up. Daniel saying custom glass professional.
I was just writing it out to see what it looks like. Like you should write it out and look at it and read it and visualize it. So if you're gonna call yourself something, you might want to see what it looks like on paper.
Absolutely, I like it. And yeah, I mean, like I was saying earlier, not going to make a decision today, but over the next, I expect over the next week, I'll probably hear from people who weren't here tonight. Um,
You mean people will give you their opinions freely?
yeah, I have a feeling. Um, but I'm going to be surprised if I hear very many cons to this. Um, because the vibe
Shower
I'm
door
getting is that
professionals is
people,
good too.
yeah, yeah. I
It's
mean, the
not
vibe I'm
bad.
getting is that people are pretty much on board with the idea of, doing something new. And so then probably what I would do is like, come up with a few ideas, maybe poll them, put them up in the group to poll. What do you think about this name? What do you think about that name? Not necessarily go with whatever's most popular, but maybe, who knows? But get a feel for what people are thinking and which way they're leaning and stuff like that. Maybe in a few weeks, month from now, maybe we'll make a change. Who knows? Could happen.
So I know I also follow the Glazer Nation stuff. That very specifically seems like it targets their that niche of commercial work. So anything referred to as glazer, yada yada yada, seems to be more specific to commercial side. They cross into, like we cross into commercial stuff randomly. Sometimes they cross into residential, but for the majority of it, they're commercial geared, all their stuff on there. So, and then also I see the window and door companies, they're in glass, but all their specifics are window and doors and stuff like that, so that very strategically targets that niche. So,
Right. Right, exactly. You're right. So it's like, yeah, yeah, you're right. They're already kind of compartmentalized like that. And then
mhm.
our zone is kind of like everything else. I mean, then like the other one would be like auto glass. Like auto glass is its own,
Mhm.
totally its own thing, right?
Yeah.
There's auto glass, there's windows and doors, there's like commercial, and really, like you're saying, they're the ones really who refer themselves as glazers. I mean, most like residential glass guys, we really don't call ourselves glazers, although we technically are, right? But we more say like glass guy. They're like, oh, railing guy, shower door guy, mirror guy, glass guy, whatever, Not really glazer so much. That's more of a union or a commercial kind of designation. So,
You get on that website, man. I tell you what, if somebody makes one small mistake and it's not the it's a different breed and it's different. I don't know, man. That vibe on that thing is that's a lot different than it is here. That's for sure.
I think they all think OSHA's watching the online platform for some reason.
right, and they are OSHA bots, right, Rob? OSHA bots are on there.
Yeah, they're watching all things.
Man, but you see people put like a question on there, and then it's like, hey, you're a dumbass. How do you not know this? What do you mean? How did you get so far in life without knowing what gasket to use on a Conair E54 7000 series? It's like, what? Okay, all right.
That's one of the first things you learn.
Love it. Yep, there you go. Well, cool. Well, all right, guys. Well, thanks for showing up. Thanks for having this talk. I think we covered some stuff and I feel pretty good about it. So come on back next Wednesday and we'll do it again.
All right, sounds good. Have a good
Have a
week.
good one, guys.